Rutherford Issues with Brian Barrett on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
And we are coming to you from the Middle Tennessee Electric Studios this morning with a reminder about the 25th annual Earth Day celebrations coming up on the 18th, not this weekend, but next, 10 to 2 on the square. Hoping for, well, I guess they would take this weekend's weather for that weekend, right? Because it's going to be great this weekend. They're going to have all kinds of games and activities for the kids. It's just really a fun time on the square, so get out and enjoy Earth Day here on the 18th, 10 to 2, rcearthday.com online. Well, we have some fun things to talk with you about. Angela Tips with mini hats to wear today. And it's always fun when you come in because I feel like I get a little insight to Big Brother.
To the Dinkins family saga. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. He's going to be in a different decade than I am very soon.
Yeah. He's really looking forward to that,
I'm sure he is, and I'm going to really milk it for all it's worth. Yeah.
He was showing me a picture that he had with Allie Grace, and he said, I really look like a grandpa here. And I said, all that's missing is the overalls and straw hats.
I don't think you'll ever see John in overalls and straw hats.
Probably not.
No, he's too much of a fashionista.
Probably not. Yeah. But for those who listen to WGNS a lot, John's sister is Angela, or Angela is John's sister. There you go. That's the better way. The Dinkins family has always been known as a very musical family around here. Just about every one of you involved
we all
in
do.
it.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Even David, who had a nice voice. I don't think he played a little guitar, but we all played instruments and sang, and some of us made livings as it.
Yeah. Especially you.
Especially me. Thank goodness I can't do anything else. So it's a good thing I got a job.
Well, I guess Nancy did as well in teaching that.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So, tell me about some of the overviews. We're going to talk about events that are coming up and Middle Tennessee Choral Society. I don't know where you want to start.
Let's go in chronological order. How about that?
Sure.
The most pressing thing that's going on is in a couple weeks I guess it's 2 weeks from Sunday. Yikes. April 26th, Sunday afternoon, my two choirs, the soprano alto choir and the tenor bass choir, are joining together for what we're calling an American Sampler. MTSU and the American Democracy Project is making a real push to celebrate the 250th signing of the Declaration of Independence. But since we're not in school during the summer, we're really trying to do things this semester and then in the fall to celebrate that. So Amy Sayward has been leading the troops to commemorate that in every possible way. So this concert is part of that MTSU celebration, university-sponsored celebration. We'll have a lot of different. Every piece that we do is by an American composer. So we have some spirituals arranged by African-American composers. We have folk songs like Shenandoah. We're throwing back to the 60s, and we have a Pete Seeger, Wherever All the Flowers Gone. We have a Bob Dylan, Times They Were A-Changin', just really eclectic kinds of music that features what I guess would be our country's fabric of like a soundtrack to American democracy. So we're going to celebrate that on Sunday the 26th at 3 o'clock, free, open to the public. A part of that will be recognizing a group of singers, the MTSU Sacred Harp Singers. Now, if you are a really old-timer in Murfreesboro, you probably know that Margaret Wright, she and her husband Neil were the department chairs. They
Wright
ran
Music Hall,
the music.
named after.
Wright Music Building is named after them. And so Maggie, as they called her, had a group from the, late 40s to the 70s called the Sacred Harp Singers. And the Sacred Harp is old shape note singing, an old-timey fa sol la kind of singing. And the Sacred Harp Singers were really MTSU's premier vocal ensemble for a number of years. They sang Appalachian folk tunes and they sang hymns like shape note singing, but they also did wonderful arrangements of, I can remember my sister Nancy was in that group, and I was just intrigued by this group. And they would sing folk songs, and they'd have dulcimers and zithers and old-timey instruments and things, and went on tour. And they were really about 12 or 15, maybe no more than that, singers that were just sort of the face of MTSU for a long, long time. And when Maggie retired in the 70s, that group disbanded. And we are having a reunion of them.
Oh, nice.
So there are probably 16, 18 people who are coming for lunch right before the concert, and then they'll come to the concert and we'll recognize them. I really wanted to try to get them to sing something, but they went, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. So we'll recognize them because that's a big part of our history as the School of Music, and American history as well.
Yeah.
They were real active in the bicentennial because that was like the year before I think they disbanded. So
that would have been 76,
yeah,
I guess.
Exactly.
So
I think right around that time is when that was their last year or two. And so Nancy's coming. A lot of folks that I looked up to as musicians as the little sister going to all these concerts.
I bet.
So it's a really special event. And
so you can't get them to sing, huh?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Many of them are past their singing age, as they described it.
Yeah.
But we'll at least give them a front row seat and say hey to them.
I wonder how they came up with the name Sacred Harp Singers.
Well, the Sacred Harp is a collection. Mm-hmm. Thank you for asking, because I actually know the answer.
Okay,
to this.
good.
The Sacred Harp is actually a book of old-timey sacred tunes, like Amazing Grace is in there.
Oh, okay.
And it's in the shape notes, so you've got 4 lines, and the melody is actually in the tenor line, and there's that old shape note singing like a triangle is fa and a circle is so, and that's not probably right, but that's how they would sing it.
Okay.
And when you go to a Sacred Harp singing, which is still really active today, you sit in a sort of a hollow square, and there's a song leader in the middle, and they'll sing whatever tune they pick on the syllables first, and then they'll go back and sing it with the words. It's a fascinating kind of thing. You can Google Sacred Harp singing.
Okay.
And it's a real fascinating kind of all over the world. I just taught this yesterday to one of my classes, and there's somebody in Washington who's made a video, Washington State, who's made a video of all these places in the Pacific Northwest that are Sacred Harp singers. So that's where they came from, because their textbook, if you will, came from the Sacred Harp Shape Note Songbook.
Okay.
There's actually a new edition of that we'll have on display for the reunion. Just came out in the fall. So it seemed like it was a timely way to, if there's going to make a new edition of this book, let's call attention to the folks who sang from it a long time.
So, a little music history here, maybe. Yeah. Why did you have symbols instead of music?
Oh, gosh,
Is it
because
they couldn't read that, but they
correct,
could read the
correct.
symbols?
I do know
okay.
that. There were 4 shapes, and fa, sol, la, mi, and then you repeated it. And so in the old time when there were singing schools, because, in the first, when the Puritans came over, they didn't have songbooks. They had the words to the Psalms, but then it was easier to kind of line out like, Amazing Grace. Everybody saying, Amazing Grace. Well, the singing got really terrible. I mean, a good song leader is great. A bad song leader is really bad, as we know from our church-going experience. So clergy kind of said, let's make some singing schools, and let's teach people how to read music a little bit better. And this seemed like the way, the shape notes seemed like an easier way than just learning, every good boy does fine, like Paul Dinkins made me learn,
Yeah.
So it was just kind of a style of how to read music and how to sing those old-timey tunes.
Yeah. I don't know, this question just popped into my head, but I remember in elementary school, we had music, it's very important for everybody to at least have that introduction to music.
It's essential.
Isn't it?
Music, and singing especially. It's great. I'm a big proponent of bands and orchestras. But your voice travels with you the rest of your life. You don't have to have anything to make music if you have a voice. And so I think it's essential for students from kindergarten, even preschool, to learn how to use their singing voice, learn how to read music. It opens up a whole world of literacy, really.
It does help with the literacy.
It does, actually. There are studies that have shown that music and literacy and mathematics, actually, because that spatial relationship. You've got to have, a certain amount of rhythm and how you break the beats down into micro beats. There's some real great research, intriguing research about how the arts, especially music, can help with that.
Very interesting.
You're just getting into the weeds
here.
here.
I didn't mean to
Brian.
do that.
That's
Yeah,
great. I love it.
I've been on the air too long today. I think that's what it is
It's
so
okay.
far.
I'm happy I know that at least some of the answers,
Yeah.
or I'm making it up enough convincingly
it sounds
enough that
good.
you think that
Yeah.
I'm right. Yeah.
250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence,
Mm-hmm.
and tying all that in. That's a really great event. The word you did say the word free in here too.
Yes, absolutely. It is absolutely free. We're going to have probably a lot of folks. With the Wright Music Building, the Hinton Hall seats about 300. And it may very well be full because there are 80 kids on the stage who will bring their parents and their friends. And then because it is an MTSU event, and the Sacred Harp Singers will have about 20 or 25 people. So you might want to get there early.
Yeah.
You know, it fills up pretty fast for these, which is fantastic. It's a great celebration. We're going to also honor our seniors, those who are graduating, that have sung in my groups for either 1 to 8 semesters,
Okay.
you know.
Well, that's awesome. So that's going to be on the 26th.
26th.
A Sunday afternoon.
Yep.
You do a lot of Sunday afternoons.
I do. We for these two groups, and our new director of bands, band director, Band of Blue director, Dr. Brian Brown, and I were talking about this. We do a Thursday night in the beginning of the semester, along about fall or spring break, but then we do a Sunday one because, you know, families can't get there on a Thursday night. If you live in East Tennessee, you can't get there on a Thursday night concert. So I try to do one Thursday night, makes it easy on the students, but then I do a Sunday afternoon so that mom and dad can come, especially in the spring when we're celebrating that's their last concert. So if we have families that come from Knoxville and on into like Greenbrier and all those Greenville in East Tennessee, and they can get there on a Sunday afternoon where they might not be able to during the week.
So mark your calendars, the 26th, and let's put on your Choral Society hat.
The following week, because I am a glutton for punishment. once our classes are gone, and we get out the last week of April, that is our last day of class. So once school is out of session, then the Choral Society takes Hinton Hall, and we do a concert. Usually the first Sunday in May or the first Sunday in December. That's also a 3:00 in the afternoon one. This year, because again of the 250th anniversary, I wanted to do some American composers. So we're doing Leonard Bernstein's Chichester Psalms. Now, Bernstein was Jewish, and he wrote this wonderful 3-movement set of psalms in Hebrew that are poignant. That especially the second movement. The second movement is Psalm 23, Lord is my shepherd. Starts with a child soprano, Audrey Perkins, one of my colleague's daughters, who's 6th grader, is going to sing, and has this beautiful melody. And then underneath, the tenors and basses sing this really aggressive, why do the nations rage? I think it's Psalm 84, but I don't think that's right. But it's one of the psalms that juxtaposes, and then the end of it is those two happening together. And especially as we're in a time of war, then to hear those, you can almost hear the gunshots in their text and their aggressiveness with that childlike melody. It's just eerie, and it's just lovely, and some really poignant moments. So that's the first half that I'll conduct with orchestra. Then I have a dear friend, Brandon Boyd from the University of Missouri, who's coming to do what we're calling Listen, Voices of Songs of Faith and Freedom. And they are music, it's music mostly out of the African-American tradition from different composers, some gospel, some spirituals, some newly composed people that are not idiomatic to necessarily a black experience. But Brandon is coming to do some really spirit-filled kind of acknowledging the path that we have walked as a country and our relationships with black people and formerly enslaved people. So it should be a really heartfelt concert, and it's with orchestra. So this one is free, but we're asking for some donations because we got a big orchestra to pay for. So if you go to our website, mtchoralsociety.org, you can have a place to get your free ticket, because we want to kind of manage that. We're expecting, again, a great big old crowd. So if you can get your free ticket. But there is also, of course, a little way to donate when you put your free ticket there. So mtchoralsociety.org will have information about getting tickets free, and then you are certainly welcome to donate.
Okay.
But that's at 3:00 on that Sunday as well. When you go, because MTSU is a busy place, there's a baseball game that day. And that parking lot is right in front of where we want to be. So we have reserved the nursing lot. It's right at the corner of Falconberry and Champion. You'll see it. It's just kind of the end of the block. And there is a parking attendant there that says, I'm going to the concert, and it's just a quick walk just really across the street from there. So you have some reserved parking to deal with.
That's good.
It's lovely. It's a lovely thing.
Yeah.
The midget building that was the back of Old Main, they are working on Old Main, and it looks stunning. And so that parking lot has been inaccessible, and it very well may be open by then. I don't want to count on it, but that's really across the street. So we'll have that reserved as well. So plenty of places to be reserved. Just don't be afraid to tell the parking attendants, if we have to, I'm with the band.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's pretty good. I mean, she doesn't let any baseball people. I think there was even a story last year that Chris Massaro, the athletic director, tried to park because there wasn't any parking in the baseball field. And I think he had to find other places because she was pretty committed to it. Don't tell my boss that. But anyway.
That's okay.
They are very helpful in trying to make sure the concert goers get a reserved space.
Well, and that's what you want right there
for
too.
Sure.
For sure. So that will be a very fun event coming up on May the 4th and
May 3rd.
Or is it 3rd?
It's 3rd because last year was May the 4th.
Okay.
Because we did all Star Wars things.
Yeah, that is correct. So I'm glad that
that may be wrong on what I sent you.
Yeah, it's
I
all
can't
good.
Keep up.
I understand. I'm the same way. So wanted to make sure we get that on the podcast here. Folks missed that or came in a little late, so they'll want to know about the two big weekends, and hopefully we'll have some big crowds there. And I'm sure the same about being able to get in and the 300 seats and all. Mm-hmm. So maybe we'll fill the Choral Society event up too.
That'd be lovely.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for your help in promoting all these great events.
Glad
Brian.
to.
I appreciate it.
Always glad to. Angela Tips joining us today here on the show. And friends, that's going to do it for our time here today. Thank you so much for being with us. And we'll be back next time for another edition of Rutherford Issues. We'll see you then.